Hi everyone, so today I have an update on an old story. About a month ago, Jeff Cavaliere of ATHLEAN-X was exposed for using fake weights. He faked a number of different lifts, including deadlifts, bench presses, rows, curls, you name it. He faked a lot of different lifts in a lot of different videos. He lied about how strong he was, and this was proven beyond any doubt, and actually an identical pair of fake weights were found in an eBay listing online, an identical pair to what Jeff used. Well, Jeff has never actually come clean. He never admitted that he used fake weights, never apologized for it, but it seems that he's trying to make up for, this mistake, and just recently, he posted a video titled, "How to Get Big and Strong, Just Do This," where he actually lifted real weights and he did some max lift attempts. But again, this just proves further that he used fake weights in his previous videos, and it proves that he really doesn't know what the hell he's talking about when it comes to strength training and weight training in general. So we're going to go through this video. We're going to focus on this max deadlift attempt, and we'll break down what's going on here. All right, so first thing to note in this video, Jeff is attempting a 425-pound deadlift, and we know that it's a real 425 pounds because there's a very low likelihood that these barbells are faked. It looks like he's using a set of Hampton barbells. Never seen a set of barbells like this that are faked, so these seem legit. And on top of that, you'll notice in this video, all of the barbells are the same. They're from that same Hampton brand set. Whereas in his previous deadlift videos that were faked, all of the barbells were different, which is really weird. It's pretty obvious it's faked. So secondly, you'll notice that in this video, he is doing an absolute grinder. He's really struggling here. You can see the amount of tension in his face and muscles all over his body. This is real weight and he's really struggling with it. Whereas before, you can see that he's lifting this weight up just absolutely effortlessly. And in his faked video, he's deadlifting 405 pounds here for multiple reps. And you can tell just by the bar speed that he's not even struggling at all. He's basically just putting on a fake face to make it look like it's hard, but he's lifting this up absolutely effortlessly. So weird how before he could deadlift 405, no problem, up, down, like it's nothing, but here he's absolutely struggling to just get one rep with only 20 more pounds. So yeah, obviously the previous lift was faked, and when he attempted a max lift before in his faked footage, he was doing 495 pounds, just shy of 500 pounds, and he was actually able to lift that for a double. Now, these are fake weights, so he could have probably just done more, but the camera stops after he does 2 reps. So we'll just assume he did 2 reps there. So again, he was able to lift 495 before for 2 reps, but now he's struggling with 425. So obviously the previous lift was faked and this new lift is real, but that's not all there is to the story. I think we all knew that Jeff was lifting with fake weights before. It's just funny to it's just funny to see that now that he's lifting real weights, he has to own up to the fact that his lifts aren't nearly as impressive. But on top of that, these real lifts that he's performing, they're not even done well. So one thing you'll notice here is that Jeff is rounding his back quite a bit. Now that's not necessarily a problem. I think people freak out a little bit too much with back rounding, but this is a little hypocritical for Jeff because he's actually talked about how, rounding your back on a deadlift is, one of the worst things you can do. It increases your risk of injury.
You're not going to bring your body closer to your thighs here, because what that does is it lifts with the hips. The first move is hip. The first move is hip. Lifting with the hips throws your low back into a rounded position, which again is asking and begging for a lumbar disc issue. This is an incredibly safe exexercise, one of the best exercises you can do, but you have to get this part right.
So Jeff always emphasizes how important it is to use good technique. You have to make sure you keep a neutral spine position. He really tried to emphasize using a lot of leg drive in that deadlift technique demonstration video. But then when you watch his max lift attempt where he uses real weights, He has complete form breakdown. He can't keep a neutral spine position. He has a lot of rounding in his back. He's not using much leg drive either. He's pretty much just relying on flexion to lift this weight up. It's a massive grinder. And look, I can expect a little bit of form breakdown when you're doing an absolute max lift attempt, but Jeff clearly just is inexperienced with these lifts. Any experienced lifter who practices these techniques on a regular basis, they're not going to have the sort of form breakdown when they attempt a max lift. Look at any experienced power lifter doing a max lift attempt. Their max lift attempts look almost identical to the sets they do on a working set. The only major difference is that the bar speed is slower just because they're lifting with a lot more weight. So Jeff doesn't really even know how to perform this exercise. And on top of that, he was using a weight belt. You'll notice that in his warm-up to this max deadlift attempt, he wasn't using a weight belt. His technique and form was also better. He had a more neutral spine position, and then when he did the max attempt, he had massive form breakdown, and he used a weight belt, which again is kind of hypocritical for Jeff because he's argued against using a weight belt.
And we're talking weight belts. And I'm talking about how this weight belt might be making your weight belt weaker. You see, you actually have a weight belt that never cost you a penny, and you carry it around with you all the time. It's your transverse abdominis. But by relying on this far too often, you're actually going to weaken that and have it cost you at the moment that it matters the most, on your big lifts when you would actually reach for this one. Overuse of this is just going to make inactivity of the transverse abdominis, and it result in a weaker transverse abdominis, so you couldn't rely on it when you really need it. So I'm advising you to ditch the weight belt. Here's the instances where I would say it's okay. If you are somebody with a history of back pain, whether you had surgeries, lumbar fusion, discectomy, significant back injuries that have laid you up for a significant period of time, then I would say it's okay to use this as you get yourself back into training from that injury, but only if you agree that you're going to train your core directly and increase the strength of your transverse abdominis, like I showed you in that video that I linked over there, with the focus of building that up over time so you can wean yourself off of this. Use this as a crutch to get you back in the game again. On the other end of the spectrum, if you're a competitive powerlifter, there's a powerlifting belt that we, again, covered on the Instagram profile that will allow you to generate even just a little bit more force in your lift that will increase your lift total by even a small amount. That could mean the difference between first place and third place or setting a new PR. In those cases, you can train there. But not a lot of the guys that are watching this channel are competitively powerlifting at that degree. A lot of them are watching to just get either bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic. And again, athletic, you're not allowed to take these out with you on the playing field, or at least not comfortably. So we don't want to train you to become reliant on this. I want to train you like an athlete to rely on the one that you have with you all the time.
So I'm a little confused why Jeff would be using a weight belt here. Like he said in the video, the only reason you should use a weight belt is if you're recovering from an injury, using it as a temporary crutch, or if you're a really serious powerlifter. And as far as I know, Jeff isn't recovering from a back injury, and I know for sure he's not a competitive powerlifter. So the only reason I could imagine for why he'd be using a weight belt here is because he thought it would give him just a little bit of an advantage to lift more weight in this max lift attempt so that it looks more impressive on camera. So essentially, the guy is just ego lifting, and he's throwing out all of his training principles just to eke out any little advantage he can so that, you know, the kids who watch his YouTube channel can be like, oh, wow, he's strong. He probably even thought that, oh, if I wear a weight belt, maybe I can get to close to a 500-pound deadlift like that one deadlift I faked. Not even close, Jeff. So this is just ridiculous. Like, for him to struggle this much with 425, it's insane. I have had 4 knee surgeries. I can hardly bend my knee. I've had issues with lower body training for years now. I've barely been able to get any sort of consistent training with my lower body. And after only a few short months, I think I was only training for about 4 months consistently with lower body training, focusing on the deadlift, I was able to deadlift 425. So it's not even a difficult amount of weight to lift. Jeff has a lot more training experience than I have. Supposedly, you know, he has a way higher level of education than me. He should know how to deadlift, but clearly he can't. There's just no excuse for this sort of form breakdown and this difficulty lifting this amount of weight. And like, I can't even, words can't even describe how stupid this is. So, like, look, I'm making this video just to point out to everyone that Jeff isn't, for one thing, Jeff isn't the most honest person. I think what he should have done here is either just apologized for using fake weights, just came out with it, or maybe don't show like a deadlift on camera with really bad form where you just try to struggle as hard as you can, using a weight belt, cinching it up real tight to try to match that fake deadlift attempt you did years ago. It's a joke, man. Clearly the guy is dishonest. And clearly the guy doesn't really know how to train. At least he doesn't know how to perform some of these basic compound lifts. And if any of these things are the case, at the very least, take what Jeff says with a huge grain of salt. I'm not saying everything that Jeff says is wrong and bad and stupid, but clearly he's not the guy to go to when it comes to weight training. And anything he says, you should maybe get a second opinion, maybe not treat everything he says as gospel. But I know I'm going to get a lot of ATHLEAN-X fanboys in the comments saying, you don't know what you're talking about, Jeff is amazing, he's the all-knowing fitness god, and yeah, they're just going to call me a fat loser. Well, okay, great. Why don't you do deadlifts like Jeff did in this video, arch your back like crazy, round your back like crazy, keep your legs nice and straight so it's like a stiff leg deadlift, lift with your lower back entirely. Let's see how far you get, okay? Let's see. But anyway, if you like this video, maybe consider supporting me on Patreon or through my website. I have some funding perks you may find interesting. If you're looking for clothing, then check out the Vegan Gains store. And if you're looking for online coaching, then check out Quality Gains. He offers customized meal and training programs. And if you click the link in the description, you can get a free ebook. And as always, keep making those vegan and real weight gains.
What a relief! When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how.